Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Murat Güvenç. I am Managing Director of BeamSec, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's Cyber Circle Roundtable. Cyber Circle brings together technology leaders, practitioners, and innovators like today to explore the high-stakes topics shaping cybersecurity, AI, and the future of trust. Today's discussion, from chatbots to autonomous agents, in my opinion, comes to an essential moment. We are moving beyond AI that responds, but AI that acts. Please join me in welcoming an outstanding group of esteemed speakers and friends. Nilesh Patil, CEO of Gulf Cyber Hunter Hub from UAE, Prasenjit Saha, CEO of Cygenic from Canada, Greg C. Layton, CTO of Apex IQ from US, and Dr. Masum Alam, CTO of Cytovate from Qatar. Thank you all for being here and making the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will run the session in three parts. In the first part, we will talk about what makes an agent autonomous. In the next part, I would like to spend more time on trust, risk, and the human oversight. And in the final section, we will talk about some real impact use cases, or it is a hype that we are experiencing in the field. So let's dive in. We are at this stage, we are at the age of autonomous agents. We hear nothing but autonomous agents. So how does it fundamentally differ from the AI that we have known so far?
Okay. Murat, if you allow me, I want to answer this question.
Absolutely, Dr. Alam. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Murat, for organizing this very interesting session. And I'm also very grateful to all the speakers actually who are joining with me in this very, very interesting and something like which is a needed talk as well. So what I believe is that autonomy begins when the system is no longer just answering actually, but the system actually, whatever it is, in cybersecurity or in CRM or in any domain, it can pursue a goal over multiple steps actually. So this thing is to clarify that inherently whatever we program in computers actually, it is not something goal oriented. It is typically something hard coded. But now the system, which is called an autonomous agent, it could choose tools, it could choose external context, maybe recover from failure as well, and to decide without being re-prompted at every step actually. So from the traditional systems who were interacting with the system, now it is much more intelligent and it can include all these things which I have mentioned, like it can choose tools, external context, recover from failure, and all these things. When it comes to differentiation from the old AI was used for classification, for clustering, which is used for prediction, for example. Now we have the generation of text as well. But now basically the agentic AI or the autonomous agents, they have more decomposed goals. They can select tools, take actions, they have checklists. So this is much more, in my opinion, the main difference and the definition of autonomous agents. That's how I think the system is. Murat?
Very much. Thanks for sharing your insights, Dr. Alam. So is this just an evolution of what we've seen, or a little bit more a real paradigm shift?
Maybe Murat, Nilesh here.
Please.
Murat, Nilesh here. If you allow me, I can take that question.
Yeah,
absolutely. Please.
Sure. Thank you. So yeah, absolutely. From my perspective, you see, it is definitely an evolution, for of AI towards the autonomy. It is not an overnight journey, right? So if you see in a historical past, 1950s to 80s, we used to rely on the rule-based systems, right? Expert systems with strict if-then-but rules, kind of, right? Especially the medical diagnostic programs and so on and so forth. But obviously, it has got its own complexities. Then came the era of 1990s to 2010, those 20 years or so. We are talking about statistical and machine learning, right? So all the SIEM and other platforms really evolved and moved into the machine learning aspects, right? Which is a better thing to do compared to the rule-based, systems. Then came the 2010 to 2020, those 10 years, that decade, where the deep learning and agentic AI, generative AI, really started picking up, and large enterprises started, adapting to that. Especially some examples I can talk about is neural networks enabled image recognition or speech recognition or speech processing, that kind of a journey. It is after 2020 we are really talking about autonomy of the agent, which is currently emerging now. So it is definitely an evolution where the agents are getting smarter. They can plan, they can act and adapt. But again, we need to really define those boundaries, how much we should allow them to advise versus act, and where the human in the loop is required to be in picture. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect, Nilesh. So
Okay.
you rightly said this is a paradigm shift. But in the meantime, uh, anybody thinks that there is a misconception of people think about agents or what they expect from the agents?
Yeah, Murat, if you don't mind,
Sure.
if you're allowed, thank you. So my perspective is, think of this in the lineage of a human's birth through their life cycle. We're somewhere at not even adolescent stage. We have cognitive skills. The agents can, in some cases, reprogram themselves because they're making decisions of logic. In the odd cases, but exist, hallucination. So my take is where we are currently, we must very carefully guardrail systems that utilizes agent to agent's actions, because the repercussions are irreversible for some critical systems. So from my perspective, absolute human in the loop for critical actionable items from these agents that are autonomous.
Very good. Yeah, thanks for that. So,
Yes, sir.
Prasanjit, do you have thanks, Greg. Prasanjit, do you have any final thoughts on the autonomous agents, the age we are living, and how they are different from what we have seen before?
Yeah, so as everybody was describing about these autonomous agents, the way I am seeing that in the enterprise who are adopting AI today, I mean, of course, we have gradually moving from LLM co-pilots, RAG-based
Mhm.
system. Now is the time for people are talking about autonomous agents, but I see that there are multiple levels of automation here. I mean, of course, initially, when you look at data science era, data and AI and data science era, it was fairly manual. That you can consider as level 0 of autonomous. It was doing data analytics. It actually started with assisted zone. That is one kind of autonomous agents where you can have it assisted. Then it gradually moves to semi-autonomous. Then it goes to conditional autonomous. I mean, you can put certain conditions, which is called as policy and guardrails. Typically, that is where you say that, hey, agents will operate within that boundary. And then it goes into high autonomy. I mean, you would have seen some of the new releases of high-level automation where it is more or less getting self-directed, right? The last level is full autonomy, which has got really very few human intervention. It can take completely independent decision making. It can perceive the environment and change its course of action. But based on my understanding today, it is if you look at the risk profile of agentic AIs and autonomous agents, as soon as we moved from LLM plus RAG-based systems into agentic AI, the AI risk profile moved from moderate to very high. So that is currently the risk profile that is there whenever you look at. So you really require to put a lot of controls. AI governance also demands that human in the loop control has to be put, layered control has to be put, because otherwise it will actually have, it is a regulatory violation if you do not put governance controls. That's what European AI Act and ADA and NISTs and ISOs, everybody is asking for. So organizations are also looking at today, based on this whole regulations, accountability part and all of that, you will see that people are hovering between assisted to semi-autonomous. There are guardrail-based systems coming in, is currently the status, and I think we will see more conditional autonomy in this year, is my thought process. I mean, as far the enterprise adoption goes.
Very good. Appreciate presentation. So both of the speakers brought up the topic of the human control, guardrails, safety. So I just want to move to the next part, talk about the task risk and the human oversight. So as we know, AI moves closer to decision making. Of course, some agents will talk to other agents. There are super agents. So where should we draw the line between autonomy and human control? I understand there are regulations coming in discussion, but is there such a line that shouldn't be crossed, or where we decide the line?
Very right, actually, Murad. And I think the second point I actually want to answer this, that when we say autonomy, uh, we also need to look that, are we overestimating the autonomy? This is also something like very important to see, basically, because many so-called autonomous agents are somehow really supervised workflows with occasional initiatives, actually. So I want to dig deep into even the terminology or the methodology that we are using for autonomous, actually. So autonomous is something which is like totally autonomous. And as the other esteemed panelists, they also said that we need to see that at which level the autonomy is, because even you see the major vendors, like I'm talking about OpenAI, I'm talking about NVIDIA, I'm talking about even Anthropic as well. So they are providing uh, heavy scaffolding around permissions, guardrails, as we discussed, shared context, evaluations, even policy controls as well from the governments, from many organizations, which shows that industry itself knows full autonomy is not trustworthy, actually. So it's not possible that you achieve a fully autonomous system which is deciding on itself many things as well. So, for example, in the case of Nemo Claw or Open Claw, for example, all these things, we have seen
Exactly.
that they are very autonomous agents, and they are even having a debate with each other, or they are even selecting or having a vote as well, actually. Okay. So this is also something that is, it's not that truly autonomous, but these guardrails, permissions, and policies needs to be there as well. This is what I think. And as humans, actually, we still need to control them, not that agents are actually controlling us. Yeah, Murad.
Very good, very good. So,
Correct.
Greg, so you were saying something. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, I just said that's so correct, especially around the latest, I'd say, revelations on OpenClaw, um, basis of what's immutable, um, what's changeable via self, meaning these agents, and then secondly, how can you confirm, certainly ensure that these guardrails or controls are maintained, and again, the key word is immutable. That's going to be the biggest challenge, I think, one area of challenge that I believe that all us practitioners and the folks who are putting together frameworks need to really focus on immutability and control.
Yeah, maybe Murad, I can add one point here from
Hmm?
what Lexi talked about. See, if you look at these autonomous agent, see there are four kind of risk surface that has to be addressed while, and what the even the compliances or AI governance at enterprise level demands. See, one part is that, any autonomous action you are taking, you require to put certain control and governance on that. Another part that comes in the attack surface for autonomous agents is you have a cascading failure mechanism. Because it is actually orchestrating across multi-agents. So you require to look at the layers and see how do you put control onto that. And that is where the human control, you can put, some other systemic control, workflow related controls. Another issue that is being observed today in autonomous agent is model drifting. And that is happening because of adversarial manipulation in real time. Attackers also can start manipulating agents. And because agents are making decisions, enabled to making decisions because it's very goal setting, it can think, it can perceive, it can take actions, not only suggest. So this four is typically, I will say, is the risk surface that is there in autonomous agents today, which has to be really architected well in terms of human control, because these are the four risk surface where you really require to put, and the human controls and compliances are demanding that. When you look at accountability and all of this, you will see that there is governance specifications under UNESCO, ECDs, and also NISTs and all. NIST is very strong on governance, and it is very clearly stated that where you really require to put in which layer of cognitive, which layer of memory, and all of that you require to put controls. So that's why I will say that, when we distinguish this, it's very important to understand the risk surface and plan the human controls.
Very good. So understanding the controls or enforcement or maybe encouragement, if the AI system or agent starts malbehaving or make a bad decision, so who will be accountable for that?
Yeah, if I may add, see,
Mhm.
accountability is everywhere. But as for again, I will go back. The governance norms are very clear. It is actually the company, and company means it's the board. It starts with the board and executive management, because they are responsible for governance strategy, risk profiling, and what is the risk appetite, and so on and so forth. Then comes the second line of defense, which you can say the business and process owners. And third is the technical owners, people who implements that process, how they are implementing it in the AI engineering. So it is accountability is there, but ultimate accountability from a market perspective, from market risk perspective, goes back to the board. I mean, the risk committee of the board is finally responsible. But it should be hierarchy, it is my opinion. It is just not enough to just lay down a governance strategy and say that, yeah, the risk is accountable, but it has to be, gradually percolating it down to business owners, technology owners, and AI engineering owners, is my opinion.
So, Murad, just to add to that, at the end of the day, no matter how much autonomous the agent is, it is end of the day, it is a tool. It is not a legal entity, right? So it can be held accountable. It is always going to be the humans, and as Prasenjit rightly said, board and then the layer below, based on the processes and the technology. Yeah.
That's
And
correct.
to add to Nilesh's statement, I think it's imperative that we consider that these pieces of code that are running in supposed to be closed systems remain monitored, observed, managed. A human in the loop for me at this current stage in time is a must. How much is certainly to be determined, but there's no way that we can have closed systems continue to be autonomous without observability in place, controls that are immutable. Otherwise, we're in for an interesting ride, and forget about hallucination or language models or other elements of the inference or actions being taken unknown, right? What we know now with closed systems is that closed systems have action logic, known logic, acceptance criteria, testing that's known. We're in an era now where there are pieces of uncertainty, and that certainly needs humans in the middle for now.
Right, that's a great point, very clear. So I will move to the next section. Every company I talk, every customer, they are building their own agents. Every consulting company, they are building their own agents. So I never seen any company, any service provider not building autonomous agents. So are those agents, as of today, based on your experience and observation, delivering measurable impact, or is still a hype that we are exploring?
Um, I would like to answer Murat on this that yes, this is
Sure,
a
Dr.
real
Alam.
story. Yeah. This is a real story. But mostly the constrained agentic workflows. So it's not magically fully autonomous cyber decision makers. Okay, and there is a reason for that as well. And the reason is that, as the other participants actually they mentioned, that it's not possible to give a full rights on many different actions in cybersecurity as well. So if there is an identity change, if there is something which is involving destruction uh, actions, for example, then human has to come in control. Why? Because we have to see this aspect from different audit mechanisms as well. So, for example, if you go to ISO 27001 or many other auditing requirements which are now coming for auditing the artificial intelligence systems as well, this means that there has to be proper check and balances in the autonomous agents as well. So, in the practical sense, yes, we have, for example, in security alert triage assistance or phishing or malware investigation support, case summarization, or knowledge retrieval as well across fragmented tooling. This is possible actually, and this is being done in the industry, but not in an autonomous, fully cyber decision makers. Human are there, and they are actually following, and sometimes they are disagreeing with the output of the autonomous agents as well. This is what the current state of the art is regarding the autonomous agents in cybersecurity. Murad?
Mm, very good. Thanks, Dr. Alam. So for the other speakers, can you name or share any use cases that is working today?
Maybe Murad, I can share a
Yeah,
few.
I can.
Okay, Prasenjit, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one part that I have seen, I mean, is extensively is used in KYC orchestration for customer banking customers. I mean, that is one place which I saw that whether it is a direct retail customer or also in investment banking, customer onboarding scenarios where you have to, I have seen a good amount of implementation in KYC orchestration. Another part in which I have come across is clinical decision making, in terms of accuracy. So that is the part which has also got multi-orchestration, multiple tools. And I will say that, as I was telling before, it is not a fully autonomous agent. It is semi-autonomous, is what I will say, with a lot of controls and guardrails because of the regulations, is what I have seen so far in couple of these use cases, and across industry sectors like banking as well as in pharma.
Very good. Thanks, Prasenjit. Nilesh, back to you.
Yeah, so to add to that, as a system integrator, we have the customers right from telco to BFSI to, power grid and all. So when it comes to critical infrastructure controls, Murat, especially power grids or healthcare systems or defense, there's no way you can actually leave the control to those autonomous agents. You have to have that human in the loop, which is absolutely non-negotiable, as you will agree. Even the legal or regulatory enforcements, for that matter, will follow the same path or ethical judgment calls. So you need to define those lines actually, and then we have seen that just a classic use case. You have an agitated customer calling the net banking, and we need to pacify. There's no way your autonomous agent will be able to do that task. You need to have that human who will actually take control and do the needful, right? That's where my perspective is about human in the loop and its importance.
Great.
Agree. Absolutely agree.
So, Gregson, do you have more to add,
Yes,
or
so
any
I
use cases
think
you want to
I,
share?
I think to the esteemed panel's statement, I have not seen 100% autonomous. I may as close as 98, mainly
Big number.
because
That's a good number.
that 2% is the doubt factor, which requires humans to, I'll say, approve the action. Invariably, I've not seen 100%, and I think we're a little bit a ways from that based on risk profiles, as Prasenjit stated, right? So that's my input on that piece, Murat and team.
Correct. So, I mean, 98% is a great number, but as Nilesh's points, if I reflect on it, if we need to put human in control at certain points, so we are coming to a level that the AI is getting smarter and it has to do some automation orchestration, and we need to plug in the human. So it seems like we are backpedaling here, like how you can find more smart humans, like such auditors that knows everything better than what AI system capable of doing. So from this 2%, again, if you're gonna put the human in control, it will come to a certain percentage. I'm not sure.
I agree. I would say the sample that I stated was based on critical systems. I'm positive on non-critical,
Fine.
we're at 100.
Yeah.
But yes, sir. Yes, Murat, agree.
Yeah, another
Perfect.
point which I can add, which I've seen it in action actually so far during our deployments. See, I mean, there are use cases like if you look at say compliance automation and all of that, you can use autonomous agents, and you can go through a large amount of conditional automation or semi-autonomic manner, as I was telling you, in different levels. But what I have seen is that to create a view of a human in the loop, a lot of organizations are also implementing real-time kill switch, so that you can allow the agent to run maybe towards what Grexy was telling, that towards 98%. But that kill switch is the last 2%, where if there is a observation in runtime, and that's where you really require to monitor the risk in runtime in agentic AI systems. And based on the disturbances, and if it validates your thresholds or violates your threshold, you can activate the kill switch and go back to the more traditional safe route. And that routing, I have seen that implementing as a governance mechanism for a lot of autonomous, places where you are very clear that yes, it can be done fully autonomous way. That kill switch implementation is a good way to achieve towards a lot of places where you can get more self-sufficient, more towards fully autonomous. So it will happen. I mean, I saw only one implementation where this is really was making sense to put a kill switch in case things goes wrong.
Okay. Very valuable insight. Appreciate that.
Good
So
point.
I will close the panel with last question to every one of you. So in one or maybe two sentences, what should organizations do differently in the next 12 months as agents becomes more real?
So maybe Murad, I can take that and others can add, because
Sure.
we are now being a system integrator. We have seen this happening right from our enterprise customers to mid-market, and even the SMBs are following. The first and foremost thing I would recommend is to establish the clear guardrails, right, before you scaling, because journey from chatbots to autonomous agent is not overnight, as we discussed, right? And then what many organizations are still lacking is the investment, the right set of investment, right amount of investment in those adversarial resistance, because these agents can go rogue, biased, poison, hallucinated, right? So those aspects needs to be taken care, and not when you are ready to do a production rollout, but right from your DevSecOps cycle, right? So that is another significant investment and planning which is needed. These agents can't operate in silos. Those needs to be integrated with your existing monitoring system so that you get those alerts and notifications and monitoring. You should be able to monitor the mean time to detect and mean time to respond. And while you are actually traveling the journey of making your agents autonomous and responsible, you should scale your workforce also, because they can't do the traditional work. They should then scale up to be that human in the loop, right? To control the agents. That's what I feel the organization should travel the journey over the year. I mean,
Okay.
12.
I concur, Nilesh. I concur.
Right.
See, if I can add into this, I mean, I will add from a little bit standards perspective also from best practices that we are seeing across, that you should start in a little bit instead of a model that you require to take some steps towards AI security and risk maturity, in terms of really putting forward a runtime AI governance. I have seen so far 6 steps that enterprises are planning, and some part of it is getting executed, which is like start with building an AI inventory and a risk register, like you normally will see, while you develop their applications. You go into red teaming. You really require to eliminate adversarial manipulation in AI, because if those things are embedded into your autonomous agents, in future it will be only kill switch which will continuously work. Agents will not be able to work if you don't remove adversarial manipulation. Then another is adversarial testing in runtime. That is what Nilesh was telling, that you have to put guardrails and policy engineering and do this adversarial continuous testing in runtime itself, so that because of model drifting, this AI, because it's a thinking application, it will shift its decisions from time to time. You cannot be sure.
Very
And that
true.
is where you will achieve continuous governance. So it's like a 5 or 6 steps that we see towards AI security maturity. And now, good part is at least the standards and regulations are pretty clear in terms of how organizations or enterprise should go towards the maturity. Even when we started cybersecurity early days, cybersecurity maturity came much after 2012 in terms of NIST level maturity and all. It became very active in 2014 to 16, 17.
Very
But
true.
AI has started much earlier. I mean, it is already defined in terms of 4, 5, 6 steps of AI security maturity level 5 or something like that, which
Right.
has got runtime governance. That's how I
To,
will prescribe the storyline.
to your point,
Very good.
between ISO 42001 EU Act, there's certainly great references out there for controls management application, etc. So agree.
So, any last remarks, Dr. Alam, from your end?
Yeah, what I think is that in a timeline, if I see it, over the next 12 months, organizations should stop treating agents as chat features, which was like the very first uh, interaction with these LLMs and chatbots and all that. And they should start governing them as privileged digital operators, actually. So now you have got a workforce that you can spin on the fly to handle the requests more intelligently, but still you need to govern them as well, actually, as I said, from the auditing requirements. So for example, if you have a KYC in an investment banking or financial sector, or even in any other sector which is interacting with the customers, the particular audit requirements needs those breakpoints, and the killer switch, as the other panelist was referring to, should be in place as well. So over the next 12 months, we can see that transition more towards from chatbots to digital operator. These are my final remarks, Murad. Thank you.
Very, very strong point. So, Dr. Alam, Rexy, Nilesh, Razanjit, I truly appreciate your time being part of Cyber Circle, sharing your insights and experience. I look forward to working with you, talking to you on other occasions.
Thank you,
Thank you, Murat.
Murat,
Our
and
pleasure, Murad.
panelists,
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
and
Take
audience.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Pleasure to
Everyone,
be a
thank
part
Thank
of
you.
you.
this
Bye.
time.
Bye bye.
Thank you.